Welcome to Cold Hard Trash, CRT episode 55. I'm your host, Trashcan Jones.
And I'm Breg, your fellow host.
Coming at you hard with the facts of how honey is made. So bees do, in fact, ingest nectar into a special stomach, which then adds like enzymes that break it down a bit, and then they put it into a special little cove in their nest, and then fan it out with their wings to dry it.
So for the most part, it is just consolidating sugar. Like, they use the enzymes to break them down into simpler sugars.
I assume, maybe, yeah.
And then, like, that's it. Maybe there's a little bit of bee stuff in there left over. But
whatever, because whatever it is, like, we can't do it as humans, right? Bees are the only thing that can make honey, I assume. Is there, like,
we
synthetic
stole their
honey?
enzymes.
Is there synthetic honey?
Corn syrup.
Is that what that is? Isn't that just honey made from corn?
I mean, it's simple sugars, you know? It's
Nice.
just... It's probably part of the definition is made by bees.
No, that's pretty interesting, though. It's funny to think of just a little bee like, all right, I got my honey thing. I got to dry it off for the day. And then, do bees sleep? I feel like it's a whole thing of insects. They never sleep, right?
They do like they don't sleep like we sleep, but they do like a dormancy thing.
Do they?
Stop moving for a bit, yeah.
Oh, do they do that like every day? Like they need their dormancy?
I just think they're less active at night.
Interesting.
And just don't go around and do stuff. I mean, like all the flowers like close up and shit.
I assume they probably just can't see as well, too.
Yeah.
That they got light-based eye
No
receptors.
reason to go out there.
Yeah.
No reason to expend energy. You're not going and collecting more.
What do bees do at night? What do you think?
Tune in next episode.
I mean, yeah, people probably know, but what do you think, like, just for fun times? What do bees do at night? What do you think they're doing after a long day of honey collecting?
Play cards.
That'd be pretty funny. Be a really small set of cards, though. They could probably make it. They make, like, what is it, like when surgeons do, like, what you call it, origami with the little things. They make them do origami with, like, the under a microscope or whatever.
Yeah, they make like super itty bitty paper cranes.
Yeah.
With tweezers.
Right. It's
like medical forceps.
Their dexterity.
Yeah.
So I
don't even know if like they do that in the U.S. I heard that was like some Japanese thing. That,
yeah, I don't even know if it's like
may not even be true, or maybe they did it once.
I was gonna say you always see a post that's like, "This is what surgeons need to do to prove they're good enough." And I'm like, maybe someone did it one time. Like that's how you could take the internet for a grain of salt.
Then you like get an X-ray later in life, or some type of like other medical imaging thing, and you look inside your blood vessels just folded into a crane. Like, God damn it!
Yeah, that son of a bitch. Yeah, we got your X-ray back, and you're scared. You're full of a spooky skeleton, man.
With paper cranes.
She's like, all right, just be careful. I'm about to show you this. It might scare you. The doctor getting freaked out.
So you said you had something to say about Mother Teresa. And you're going to take her down.
I didn't even want to really talk about it on the podcast because there's just a lot of like horrific things I read about her.
Well, do you have anything else to bring up?
I'll just, since you brought it up, Mother Teresa has that whole like, I guess, sort of knowledge of being a good person, but was very much not a good person for a lot of different reasons, including taking money from unscrupulous people, doing unscrupulous things with said money, and refusing aid to others. It's not great. Not a great person. Do your own research on it, though, because it's a lot of just very saddening things.
Should have scrupled more.
Should have been more scrupulous. I did have a super lame nightmare, though. So I woke up and I drank the 2 beers that I had in my fridge, and I realized that it was like noon, and I still had to go to work that day. And I was like, oh, no, I can't drive to work. And then I woke up.
Well, you said, I guess, yeah. But also you work at 2, right?
Yeah, I start working at like 2 p.m. 3 p.m., I guess, but I leave for work at 2.
If you leave for work at 2 and you did that at noon, I think you're fine.
Yeah,
unless they were like them crazy ass 12%ers, then you might be in trouble.
The 9.5% beer, yeah.
You dreamt it? 9.5?
I just dreamt that I got like really like badly buzzed off 2 beers. I was like, no, I have to go to work soon. And I remembered it was like specifically the last 2 beers I had in my fridge. But I woke up and like I checked the fridge, like I didn't drink 2 beers before work.
Well, were they the 9%ers in there?
I'm pretty sure, yeah. They were the sour monkeys.
Okay, then yeah. You wouldn't be able to drive to work after that. Yeah, lame nightmare.
It was really, it was just literally just like I got accidentally drunk, and I was like a little drunk too. Not even like, oh, I did some terrible things. Like, oh, I can't go to work today. I'm going to miss out. That's going to be annoying. I'm going to have to call off and use some PTO time.
Well, now, I think that's all the topics you brought, right?
I have another one, but please.
Oh no, get it done with.
Okay, God. Well, the other.
Well, not like no, I'm not rushing you, but I want you to do all your things first.
The other topic I had was, what do you think? Is there any problems that you have in your life that you think that also like a 1500s problem or 1500s person would have? I just had like this weird thing. I got hair stuck in my hand and I was trying to like just rinse it out in like a thing. I was like, nah, even in like the 1500s, someone probably could have been doing this. Just like getting hair tangled in their hand and be like, fucking get out of here. Type shit.
Not having bread.
Yeah. Looking for bread and just be like, oh. You suddenly just go back to the peasant mind and like,
I don't have
flashback.
any.
Your ancestors flashback to you.
Being unable to start a fire due to wet wood.
Yeah, that's probably true. That's pretty like actually important though. My problem seems kind of mundane compared to that.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Same with the bread thing, even though
Stepping in
funny.
animal shit.
Yeah, that was probably like a really, really big thing. We've talked. I never mentioned it on the podcast, but we talked about. I showed you that video of the rise like slipping on the banana peel, and the rise and fall of that. Because apparently, like,
it was junk everywhere.
Yeah, it was a thing. Like, America was just like a really dirty place, and there were so many recorded deaths of people slipping, not just on banana peels, but also like garbage in general. This guy John Boyce, a hilarious YouTuber, makes great videos. He had this whole thing of like, listen, I know slipping on a banana peel is like the gag, but like, where did it come from, right? Like, it's not like someone just picked banana peel. Like, this had to be a thing known somewhere, and he did the research, and yeah. It was a thing. People were just slipping and falling on garbage all the time, even dying from it. It's crazy.
Ooh, sending a message and not knowing if the other person has read it.
Well, yeah, because that's pretty much all it was, sending a letter, and you're just like sitting there in suspense. Shit. Man, can you imagine like how many letters you must have? You probably had like someone who was like a normal person communicating with like, I don't know, at least 2 or 3 people. Like outside of town. I just sitting every day writing 2 or 3 letters. That'd take a long time. Probably not every day because it's not going back and forth.
Well, they're
fast,
like much better practiced at it. They would use like language that a lot of people, like my teachers, would say like, yeah, they were just like better at English back then, like better writers, and like just people would write more,
right?
And they would have to think about what they're writing because they're gonna like they need to be good, concise, or maybe like as artsy as they want to be and
have their voice come through. Yeah.
Because it's the only communication that you're going to have with someone in like a month.
I was going to say, until you see them again.
And you do it a lot because it's the only thing you really can do to communicate with people long distances.
Yeah. It's wild. It's wild to think. It's just, again, you're going in with more like actually deep ones. I just had hair getting stuck on the hand. I was just thinking about some weird 1500
Well, slipping in dog shit.
That's also kind of fun, yeah.
And that's like you can never really get away from that unless, I don't know, get away from dogs. Constipation.
Definitely would be one. I can't really think of any more now. I'm drawing a blank on them. I brought it up and then I just can't, you've been like taking a lot of good ones, but now I'm just stuck on the horrors of what it would be to be a medieval peasant.
Stinky clothes.
Yeah, not being able to wash clothes. I mean, when you have to skip a shower and you just feel like a little bit dirty. They probably never shower. They got 1 bath a year.
Yeah, stinky people nowadays. It's a problem, and it was a problem back then too. I mean, I guess not like a societal problem.
I was gonna say it probably wasn't a societal problem. If everybody's stinky, then is anybody stinky?
Yeah, and it was not like a societal problem in the sense like we got to do something about it. Except for at Smash tournaments, they implemented rules where you must shower, you must bathe.
They had, have you seen like the signs at anime cons too, where it was like waifus being like, you're much hotter when you shower and stuff like that. Trying to convince the guys.
Oh my God.
Do what you got to do, man. I mean, what if it makes the better experience for, I guess, the talent that's there, because it's probably cosplayers and stuff that are, I can't imagine. The AGDQ,
so it is a problem nowadays.
Yeah, it's a very big problem. Strange problem. Shout out to the AGDQ seat of victory. I think it's like 2015, 2016 it was. Well, that was my last topic, though. Please continue with what you've brought. I see quite a bit.
Well, now I got Jones out of breath. He's got no more topics. It's like Muhammad Ali against the ropes. George Foreman just swinging out ideas.
But I'm just gonna rope a dope, and then I just keep wear you out. I guess. What's the?
I'm Muhammad Ali.
Oh, okay.
And now that you used up all your ideas, I'm coming back swinging.
Gotcha. Okay.
I'm doing a deep dive into multiple topics in Pokemon.
Oh, shit. All right.
Explaining them to you in depth.
Let's go.
And you got no other ideas to come up with.
I got nothing else left. Bring it on. I can take it.
The first topic I wanted to bring up was side targeting.
Okay.
Now, this is targeting a move at one of your own Pokemon instead of attacking the enemy.
Okay, so like one of the moves that's like the rally up move where it kind of increases their stats?
Well, that's part of it, but that's not the only case. Also, this will also be including those moves that hit everyone on the field, but you're doing it on purpose to hit the other Pokemon on your team.
Okay, so it also includes Earthquake and different shit like that?
Yes.
All right.
And the first one I want to talk about is Bulldoze. Bulldoze is a move which hits everyone else on the field. It's a ground type attack. It is much weaker than Earthquake. And it lowers the speed of everyone hit by it.
So why would you want to lower the speed of your own partner?
Well, this move was used in conjunction with Weakness Policy Metagross. Weakness Policy being an item introduced in Gen 5. Metagross has an ability called Clear Body. Clear Body prevents you from having your stats dropped from anything.
Okay.
So, the Weakness Policy is an item that if you are hit by a super effective move, then you get +2 in both of your attacking stats.
But it's a weak move that he's getting hit by, so it's not going to do a shitload of damage to him, so it just buffs him.
And in the process, you are hitting both of the enemies and lowering their speed, which helps ensure that Metagross is going to move before them. So you get a really fast guy with Bulldoze.
What if they send out, basically a Metagross of their own to get that super effective?
Well, if someone else is, if you're playing into the mirror match, like you're gonna have to think about that. But if they're swapping them in that turn, they're not gonna get their stat lowered. But at the same time, like you're activating your weakness policy. Maybe they're activating their mirror match. Things get weird. But it was a dominant strategy at one point in Gen 5 that people came up with.
It's pretty smart.
So the weakness policy is kind of like the big thing for side targeting, right? It also ended up getting more popular in Generation 8 with the Dynamax battle gimmick. So Dynamax doubles your Pokemon's HP and then lets you use these really strong max moves that have like much higher base power.
Okay.
But since it doubles your HP, it's a little bit easier to take a hit that would activate the weakness policy.
Sure.
There's a specific guy, Colossal. He has an ability that if he's hit with a water or fire type move, he gets +6 to his speed.
Whoa.
That's quadruple.
Why?
He's a steam engine. He's a pile of coal.
Okay.
And he's like a locomotive thing.
I was thinking for some reason that Volcano Turtle is Colossal.
No, I mean there's like a couple. There's like 2 guys that might fit that bill. There's a Volcano Frog.
I was thinking of the one that's more like, not really turtle. He's more like, got that round head, almost like a llama/horse with a volcano on his back. I think he's green.
Oh, Camerupt?
Yeah, there you go. Camel. That's what I was thinking
of. Not a turtle.
Yeah, not a turtle. Camerupt.
No, he's just he's a camel.
All right.
And he erupt.
Makes sense. Makes a lot more sense, his name.
But you get Colossal. Colossal has a special Gigantamax form. There's a really basic Gigantamax form, makes you look different and gives you access to a different max move. 1 sec.
So is this the same as Max Mushrooms Dynamaxing?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you get your special move. And so you would side target Aqua Jet into him, and then he'd get +6 speed. He has a weakness policy, +2 attack.
Jeez.
Or special attack, whichever one he does. I don't really remember. And then he'd use his max move with his doubled attack and 4 times speed.
Right, automatically going first, essentially.
And just kick ass. Very popular strategy. There's also these other side targeting strategies. Like I've been using one recently on Pokemon Showdown, which is another weakness policy one. But this one is with a Pokemon called Florges and Kyogre. So Florges has an ability called Symbiosis, where if your partner Pokemon on the field uses their item, then the symbiosis Pokemon will hand theirs over.
Oh.
So, weakness policy Kyogre, and Florges with the move Trailblaze, which Florges is a special attacker. This is a weak physical grass move that raises your speed by 1. And Florges is holding the Choice Scarf, so she's really fast.
Mm-hmm.
So you use the grass move into the Kyogre, give it +2 in both of its stats, then you pass it the Choice Scarf, giving it also 1.5 times speed, and then you kill him.
Damn.
That's pretty much it. Yeah, it's honestly not the best, but it's a gimmick. But
yeah, it's kind of neat. I was just kind of wondering how you're gonna if you were gonna hand him like a fire orb or something.
Yeah,
that's neat.
Well, the form changing items cannot be passed at all. So, not that you would give like Kyogre a fire orb, but I guess you could. We'll get into that. But they have this Kyogre and Groudon have these orbs from like Gen 7, Gen 6 and a half. That makes them their primal forms, right?
Right.
But form changing items cannot be transferred at all.
Okay, so they're just kind of locked on to whoever. That makes sense because it's.
Well, I mean, they can be transferred between two Pokemon that don't form change with it. Because
okay.
The whole thing is that you can't activate these form changes mid-battle by holding an item.
Gotcha.
So,
Okay.
Just two guys passing around the red orb.
Right.
Like, they don't give a shit about it. But
yeah,
Groudon, you can't pass it to him.
Interesting.
Mid-game.
It'd be funny if you just had like the basketball pass around, but like, oh, Groudon can't take it.
Yeah, he's holding up. He's like, gimme.
Come on, no.
Side targeting strategies have also seen, I feel like, a bit more popularity since Gen 8 and 9.
Mm-hmm.
The move Beat Up is a particular move that's like really popular in this because, again, in like Gen 8 you would have a Dynamax Pokemon, and then you'd get a Dynamax Pokemon with the ability Justified.
Mm-hmm.
Justified means that if you get hit by a Dark type move, then you get +1 to your attack.
Okay.
And Beat Up hits 4 times at the beginning of the match.
So you can just get a +4 if you hit all 4?
Yeah. You just aim at your own guy and hit him 4 times with Beat Up. He takes some damage, but then he's at 3 times attack. So.
And is Beat Up one of those moves where it's like a % chance every hit, or is it guaranteed each 4?
Guaranteed. Well, what it is that it hits for the number of the same number of times as there are unfainted Pokemon that you brought to the battle.
Oh.
So it's 4 at the beginning.
Okay, yeah.
Including the guy that you are hitting.
They are hitting in the face right now. And this one's for you.
So that's a pretty cool thing. There's Beat Up and Rage Fist. So that's Annihilape's signature move.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd get like you get a mouse hold, which is super speedy, and then you have it use Beat Up on Annihilape. Annihilape's signature move, Rage Fist, is 50 base power, and every single time it takes a hit, it goes up by another 50.
Oh, damn.
So you use Beat Up on it, you get a 250 base power Ghost move.
That's pretty wild. It's just giving Ghost run through.
Yeah.
Unless it's... Wait, so what is Ghost not effective against? I can never remember the type.
It's not very effective against Dark, but Annihilape's also a fighting type.
And it can't hit normal moves. Normal
Correct.
Pokemon, right? Okay.
But fighting type is super effective against normal. So this was a dominant strategy in early Scarlet and Violet.
Hell yeah. That's smart.
And it was paired up with another Pokemon that was released in the DLC of Scarlet and Violet called... Not Duraludon. It's like his evolution. Archaludon.
Archaludon, yeah.
Yeah. He has a stamina ability, and he uses Body Press, which... So stamina gives you +1 defense every time you take a hit. Mm-hmm. Body Press is an attack, physical fighting type move that's based off your defense stat, not your attack stat, including stat boosts. So, you use Beat Up or Population Bomb on your Archaludon, and then you'll get it up to +4 defense, and if you use Pop Bomb, you'll probably get it up to +6.
6 is the max you can have, right? That's nuts.
So 3 or 4 times your defense stat, basically impossible to kill with physical attacks at that point, and you got a super strong Body Press.
Good God.
So that's a really interesting one because it's a special attacker, so it'll use Electro Shot, it'll boost up his special attack, you hit it, you boost up his defense, there's a special attack and a physical attack with pretty okay investment, because that's your defense, right? That's helping you live. It's not like you're splitting your stuff in between 2 attacking stats.
Right. Damn, yeah, it basically makes him like a super tank.
Mm-hmm.
Like an actual, like, not even just like tank in the like old sense of the word, he could take a lot of damage, but like a real life tank where he also has a giant cannon that can destroy you.
Yeah, it's a suspension bridge that turns into a electric gun.
Essentially, yeah.
Shoots you, or just squishes you.
Gauss's body press, yeah. So it's literally just.
Yeah, it was very popular for quite a while for that. It just can't keep up with the restricted legendaries right now because it sort of takes some time to build, right? But damn, it was fucking annoying. I like some annoying things too, so I can say that. Now here are 3.5 interesting, like the most advanced type of self-targeting that I could find. The first thing is just a note that basically there's an ability telepathy in the game. Prevents your partner Pokemon from any of their attacks from affecting you. There's a move called Pollen Puff that when you use it against an enemy, it does damage, and when you use it on a teammate, they get they restore 50% of their health.
Okay.
If you have telepathy, your teammate can't use Pollen Puff on you because it's an attack.
Oh, because technically, yeah.
Well,
so can they use the other ones that are like literally just stat raising ones? Like I forget what the ones are. They're like Psych Up that are like, oh, you can only use in double battles with.
Yeah.
Are those?
Well, Psych Up, I think you can target the other side, but.
But does that count as an attack that telepathy will stop?
No, it needs to be a damaging move. So if you're using like
a potentially damaging move, because it does not even damaging to your teammate, but it could potentially do damage.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which actually that brings me to another thing, which is the move Follow Me. So for these like self-targeting strategies, a big counter to them was Rocky Helmet, Clefable, or Mousehold. So Rocky Helmet is every single time you take a hit, it does like an 1/8 health damage to the person who hit you.
Sure.
So if they're going to use a side targeting thing, you get Clefable with Rocky Helmet and Follow Me. So you'll draw the move into you.
It's like you make them hit you? That's what Follow Me does?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's used to defend your partner. Right?
Oh, I see.
Using a bulky Pokemon to take the hit so your partner can keep their health up and attack.
Right.
But you draw in the beat up, and they take out half their own health.
Just because they try to hit you basically 5 times.
They try to hit their teammate, but then they got retargeted into you. So it's a pretty good counter. And moves like, coaching and like aromatherapy, like shit that's supposed to like target your teammate, like it can only be targeted at your teammate, cannot get redirected.
Okay.
That's the thing, is that
so if it literally does not have the opportunity to target the opponent, then it won't.
Exactly.
Okay, so
but
you
things
can't
like beat up and stuff you can get in the way of.
Right. I forget is it just called Psych Up or like Rally or something like that?
Psych Up. Psych Up is you copy their stat changes.
Oh, what's the one that's where you just like boost up your other Pokemon? It's just called like Rally Call or something like that.
There's Dragon Cheer, which gives crit rate. There's Coaching, which gives attack and defense.
I can't remember. I got it a lot in Pokerogue. I forget which guy even got it. But
doubles in Pokerogue, it just doesn't even make sense. Like, it shows up every once in a while. If they did the whole thing in doubles, it'd be a lot.
I wish I could just turn them off.
Yeah. Or none of it. Like,
right.
Yeah, one or the other.
Exactly. Give me all doubles or all nothing. That seems like it's just throwing me for a loop every time. Like, oh, great. Now I have to pick a pair, and then if I don't have the pair set, then I lose a turn right away and get attacked. And it's annoying.
And they give you that stupid-ass Cherim, and it's like, oh, if you send this Cherim out there in the sun, it'll give its partner Pokemon plus special attack and plus defense or some shit.
Cherim, is that I think might be thinking of Cherubi. What's Cherim?
Cherim is the evolved form.
Is it
Cherubi? I don't know.
I don't know either.
They don't fucking. These guys don't do anything, and especially not in Pokerogue. Because when the fuck are you doing double battles? Yeah. When is this important?
Right.
Why do they give you this whole fucking quest thing where you gotta do like beat a really hard battle to get something that's useless?
I don't know. I wish they had more settings for double battles in Pokerogue. They have a lot of quality of life. I'm surprised that's not one that they've added.
But here are the coolest side targets, in my opinion.
Let me hear.
First one is in the Sun and Moon era.
Okay.
here's the board. You got Kartana, which is a grass steel type Ultra Beast. It's like an origami thing.
Okay, I think I know what that is, yeah.
And Incineroar. Incineroar is on the field for his first turn, which means that he can use Fake Out that turn. Against a very low health Charizard, even Fake Out would kill it, and a Snorlax with like half health. So, because of the speed, the Charizard can move first and kill the Kartana, but the Incineroar can fake him out. So, the other side with the Charizard and the Snorlax, they just both protect on that turn. So Fake Out won't work.
Right.
Pretty obvious play. What the guy with the Kartana does is he swaps out Incineroar, sends in his own Rock and Steel type Pokemon, and kills it with Kartana.
But why?
So, first off, Ultra Beasts all have the same ability, Beast Boost, which is if you get a knockout as an Ultra Beast, your highest stat gets raised by 1 stage.
Okay.
So, by killing your own Stack Attacker, you get +1 attack. Then, because Incineroar uses Fake Out, or is trying to use Fake Out, it can only do that on the first turn that it's on the field, and that was that turn that they protected on.
Right.
So by switching them out, killing your own guy, the next turn you got to send someone in, you send in Incineroar again, he has Fake Out again.
So you just fake him out again, but then they're just going to protect again. So
you can only, you protect once, it's free. It'll happen, right? Try to protect twice, you only have a 1/3 chance of getting it done. Protect 3 times, you only have a 1/9 chance of getting it done.
I see. So it's just like, you're going to lower the odds. Protect might fail, then you could just wipe them clean.
So from that turn, this guy protects to make sure that they don't, get knocked out, and like they would just lose right there. Protects, so this guy with the Kartana does the one thing he can to keep himself in this game, swaps out, kills his own guy, gets Incineroar back in, Fake Out, and then he wins by hitting Fake Out on the Charizard and then hitting Sacred Sword on the Snorlax.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Honestly, I consider it the most hype moment.
Kill your own person to fucking. Was the damage up even like necessary, or was it basically just needed for like the stall?
I don't know. It could have been important because
he could have not done enough to the Snorlax, I guess.
Yeah, but I'm not too sure on what the Snorlax. Maybe it was a roll. Who knows? There's people that know, not me.
It seems like it was basically just to be able to have that swap, kill, and swap back all within the one turn.
Yeah, if worst case scenario, the attack boost is just salt in the wound.
Exactly.
Like you are not surviving this, bucko.
Right. The swap back would have taken the extra turn afterwards if he didn't have the kill. So I guess that just makes it get out there faster. So Incineroar can get the Fake Out the turn right after. That makes sense.
If they moved and they blocked or something, and then Incineroar was sent out, they would have both had Protect available to them again.
They wouldn't have been able. They would have been in a position where they could have protected not twice in a row, but protect, miss, protect. So that could have been a double 100% chance.
So that one's really cool.
That is pretty. I like that.
Another side targeting case, which was shown in like a clip, I think, during like the current NAIC, the current Pokemon competition. They'll do like little clips in between and stuff like that. And this was a pretty big moment. I was really glad I caught it, which is you got like an Amoonguss and some other guy on one side of the field. And you got an Incineroar and a Fluttermane on the other side. So Fluttermane can definitely move first, but they don't have a way to actually get rid of the Amoonguss. The Incineroar has safety goggles on, so he's immune to the move Spore, which puts you to sleep.
Okay.
So basically, both of them were going to have to take their turn, and then Amoonguss was going to put Fluttermane to sleep.
Is that what protects you from sleep spores? Is the goggles?
Safety goggles.
The nose.
Or being a grass type.
Just makes sense. Just being accustomed to the spores, I suppose. Canonically.
Yeah. Safety. I mean, Spore and Amoonguss was it became a really big deal that they added an item that makes you immune.
All right, it's pretty good. Why goggles though? Why not a nose plug? You think like this sleep dust? If it was spores, you have to smell them and they'd knock you out, right?
So, yeah, I guess I don't know. It keeps you safe from all powder moves, which includes like sleep powder and poison powder.
Definitely doesn't make sense. If you smell that poison, you're gonna die. What are you talking about?
Maybe I'll get a closer look at it. Maybe it's like goggles and they have like the nose plugs.
It's like snorkel goggles.
Yeah,
that'd be pretty good.
And it protects you from sandstorm damage.
That makes sense. Sand in the eyes.
But
put a pin in that for just 1 second. You know camels have a second eyelid they can close for sandstorms? It's like a clear eyelid.
no, that's dope as hell though.
Right?
I know a lot of animals have clear eyelids, but they're like water ones.
Yeah, it's specifically for like the
alligators
sands.
and
They can
shit.
just have like they have the big thick eyelashes and the secondary eyelid. It would be pretty
That's
sweet.
neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how they just walk through the sandstorms. Like, I don't give no fucks.
Yeah. Damn, that's cool.
Right?
Fun facts from Jones.
Hell yeah. Listen to that today. I learned on Reddit not too long ago.
So, a Moongus is threatening sleep powder or spore into a Fluttermane. They can't kill him. She falls asleep. They're in a bad position. So, Incineroar side targets the Fluttermane with Will-O-Wisp and burns it. You can only have one non-volatile status effect at a time. So the spore fails. And it gets to stay awake. And since it's a special attacker, Burn takes some health at the end of every turn and
halves your attack, but not your special attack. That's smart. So this Spore Lily failed. You can't be poisoned and burned. That feels like an oversight. You could definitely be poisoned and burned.
yeah, it's a balancing thing. They also have volatile status conditions, and you can have as many of those as you want. You can be confused, infatuated, tormented, embargoed, taunted, encored.
But it's just like, it's one of those things like, oh, that definitely could happen in reality. Oh, yeah, but it's a balancing thing. So why don't you balance it to reality instead of having reality butt up against your balancing? I feel like you should have done this at first.
Well, then, like, none of them would be powerful. If you could just put them all on someone, then none of them would be that powerful. You can put them all on someone in the trading card game.
But then you need to have something that could, get rid of more status effect clear things. Suddenly there'd be probably a lot more play around that, a lot more moves surrounding it.
Yeah, the moves exist, but...
Right, I know, like Mist and things like that to clear status effects, but...
Yeah.
I mean, there'd probably be more. Like,
yeah, they'd probably be used a lot more.
of ones that would do damage and also clear status effects and shit like that. Like, it'd probably be a much bigger thing if status effect was able to stack like that. I don't know.
But, I don't know,
Like
if I was burned, I'd probably have trouble sleeping.
I mean, yeah, but you wouldn't have trouble getting poisoned.
Fair enough.
And you wouldn't have trouble getting put into a coma if you get paralyzed. I mean,
Yeah.
if you're in a coma and can't wake up, if someone just burns you, it's not going to wake you up from the coma.
Fair
you know?
enough. They never tried it. It's kind of immoral,
Just
right?
go into the coma unit with a lighter, like, nah, he's not faking.
Yeah. They haven't tried it. So, here's the final side target. This is in a recent regional. This was actually a match that Wolf Glick won against Marco Silva, I believe. Where Wolf was using Perish Trap, which Perish Trap is like it's a strategy that basically revolves around using the move Perish Song, which knocks you out after 3 turns, and using a Pokemon with the Shadow Tag ability, which prevents you from switching.
Okay. So
Unless you're a ghost type, or you use a switching move. So, like, U-turn.
Right. So as I'm trying to think of, like, you put Perish Song on, then switch out yourself, but force them to stay in? Was that kind of the move?
You use Shadow Tag to keep them from switching out.
Right. But then...
So you still have the action available to you on the bar at the bottom. So on the last turn of Perish, you swap out.
That's what... Okay, so you can still swap out yourself. Perish Song doesn't lock you in there.
The Shadow Tag. But
Shadow
Shadow
Tag,
Tag
yeah.
doesn't lock you in. It only locks them in.
Okay.
And they could, like... Technically, once you leave the field, they're also allowed to switch. But they can't select that as an option. Because you're on the field during the period of time where they get to select
Where they could have, yeah.
So, that's that. And then you can get out using switching moves. So, U-turn, Volt Switch, Parting Shot. So, Parting Shot is a sound move, status move, where you basically, like, choose a target and you yell at them, and then they lose 1 to each of their attacking stats, and then you switch out.
Oh. So it's a status effect move. Doesn't actually do damage.
Yeah, but it lets you switch out.
Right.
So even in the face of Shadow Tag. So, what Marco Silva did was he was trapped with his Incineroar and his Jumpluff against, Wolf's, like, Shadow Tag and Perish Song users. So, if you're using Perish Song and trapping, typically you're, like, really trying to make sure you can protect on the right turns and stuff, not take your damage so you can stay alive to keep trapping them.
Right.
So, Marco targets his own Jumpluff with Parting Shot to get his Incineroar off the field.
Oh, all right.
So we can get somebody else in.
Someone who's not...
not under the effects of Pear Song.
Right. Pear Song or the Shadow Tag.
Yeah. So I thought that was pretty neat. Because the Jumpluff, it was only support. It didn't have any damaging moves anyway.
Yeah.
And this was... Because, like, if you try to use Parting Shot into Protect, it fails and you're stuck on the field. So you side target it because you know your own Pokemon isn't protecting.
Right.
To guarantee that you can break the trap and get out and get someone else in.
Smart.
So
that's why you can always target your own Pokemon, because sometimes it's worthwhile.
Exactly.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. It's some really creative strategies that revolve around it. From
I like
the
that.
basic, you just hit them, and because they get hit, they get more damage because of something that they got going on, all the way to, like, I'm going to status them so I can't get statused again by something worse.
Right. I'm going to burn them so that they can't get poisoned.
Yeah.
It's like some major pain. If you want me to take your mind off that pain, just break your fingers so you forget about being shot.
Yeah, you forget about the first pain.
Classic.
So now, for the second Pokemon topic.
Bring it on.
Shiny rarities.
Ooh, okay. Shinies got introduced in Gen 2, right? They just straight up weren't in Gen 1.
Yeah, there's no color.
Right, there's no color to do so you couldn't do it. But then shinies, I remember my first shiny ever caught was obviously the Lake Rage Gyarados. That was from the anime. Mm-hmm. Classic.
It's a guaranteed one.
Yeah.
That's the least rare, but it's still cool to have one.
You're right. I always made sure to get it in my playthroughs because I get my ding, whoosh. You have his little roar afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
So cool.
Yeah, this is very cool. Shinies in the first, in like Gen 2, it was all based around like the individual values or like the personality value that like it played into a lot of different things. Basically, because some shinies could only be like certain genders and like unknown. You remember unknown?
Yeah, of course. Every letter of the alphabet.
Only certain letters of unknown could be shiny.
What?
Because the same number that determines shininess is the one that determines what letter they are.
And unknown only has one
range.
entry in the Pokedex, so it's really only one Pokemon.
Yeah, so the range of which ones can be shiny only overlaps with certain letters.
Man, that's annoying.
Nah,
I mean, it's funny, but I guess it makes sense why they don't have like unknown 30 or 25 times in the Pokedex. Unknown A, unknown B, unknown C through Z.
So, the original shiny rates, roughly, this would move slightly, is about 1 in 8,191. So we'll just call it 8,000.
Sure. Because
it did move around very slightly from that number.
Okay.
Nowadays, from like maybe Gen 7 or 8 onwards, it's down to 1 in 4,096.
Okay, so in half.
Yeah.
Almost.
Or double the chances.
Right, yeah.
And that's just with, like, that's your base odds of finding them.
Makes sense as the amount of Pokemon they've added, so.
Yeah. But they've introduced ways to get those odds even better in-game methods. And if you don't,
they have shiny charms and stuff, right? You're talking about? Yeah.
So you get the shiny charms. They've had, like, mass outbreaks, which is just periods of time where, like, a bunch of a single type of Pokemon will show up in a certain area. Mm-hmm. And there were different types of forms of this. Like, you'd use the Poke Radar in certain generations, and it'd be like, okay, there's a bunch of this guy over there. Go get him. It's just on the map in Scarlet and Violet. And when all's said and done in Scarlet and Violet, you can get that rate down to 1 in 512.
Oh, damn. That's actually pretty low.
Right.
Considering that's like, what, 6 times? 5,
12.
8 times? 12 times? Damn.
No, 16 from the original 1 in 8,000, and 8 times lower than the 1 in 4,000.
That's crazy.
So you can, yeah. And also there's this thing called the Masuda method, which is if you have 2 Pokemon from different languages,
it increases your chance?
It gives you the same exact odds with when you get the shiny charm and like the sandwich boosts and all that shit.
Huh.
But that's for breeding, so it comes out of an egg. So I personally have a German Ditto that I just have in case I ever want to do that.
And you can just breed with any Pokemon and just have shiny odds.
Yeah, really good shiny odds, relatively speaking.
Nice. Pretty cool. Interesting way to do it too. Have a German just ditto, so you can literally do it with anybody.
Yeah, well, they have like a specific. There's like the trade code things that you do, where like you type in a code, and if someone else types in the same exact code, you'll get matched up to trade.
Yeah.
And there's like one that people put out there that's like, hey, if you want to do this, if you want to trade dittos with each other and hope like your foreign languages to each other, do this code. So I would jump in there, and I just kept on sending that until someone had a ditto of a different language from me, and I said, okay, cool, send it.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Cool Pokemon community. I didn't realize.
Yeah. Because like someone else, like a Japanese person, would love an English one.
Sure.
So they can do the same exact thing.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
So people are also starting to complain now that shiny is becoming not such of a big deal, right? It used to be 1 in 8,000.
Right.
And now we're looking at 1 in 500. And with these mass outbreaks, you get a bunch of a single type of Pokemon spawning. And
so it's easier to farm a single Pokemon for a shiny type.
And so I don't even know what the odds are for this, but they'll have special outbreaks, like themed ones. They'll have like just regular ones. They spawn based on your like time of day, just like whatever seed on your Switch. And there'll just be some, and they're in like red. But they'll have events where they'll send out like a month ago they did Porygon because it was the end of the Switch 1. And then this month, they did Porygon 2.
Porygon 2. That's pretty good.
In the Switch 2 version, you can spawn a lot more Pokemon. So, you do the mass outbreak. You get the outbreak number all the way down to, like, as you progress through it, you get, like, better and better odds. You get it down to the 1 in 500, potentially even better. And then you just keep on despawning them and respawning them without killing them, lowering the number even more. And...
because nowadays you can see the Pokemon before you actually encounter in the battle.
Yes, and so someone posted about having started a new game and getting 2 shiny Porygon 2s within the first half hour.
That's nuts. That's like what Borderlands did with their legendaries. By the time Borderlands 3 was coming around, you had by halfway through the game, you had a whole kit of legendaries. And it's just that's not, I mean, it's cool. Like, yay, I get to have these legendary guns and there's lots to find, but that kind of takes away from a lot of it. As opposed to Borderlands 1 or 2, you had 3 by the end of the game, maybe. Like 1 shield and 2 guns, and they weren't even like a gun you were spec'd into, but it was a legendary you found, so you were going to try and use it. Yeah, it changed drastically. I can see that argument.
Well, I get it too, right? But just because shinies are more prevalent nowadays doesn't mean that rare Pokemon are any less rare.
True.
There's just different things now available to make them rare. So the first one is that in Sword and Shield, 1/16 of the shinies, when you send them out, instead of them having star sparkles, they have square sparkles.
Why?
1/16 chance. That makes the odds 1 in 65,536.
Oh my god.
From the base 1 in 8,000.
So basically, if these were all trading cards, like the shinies are holographic trading cards, now they added a hollow, different color base, basically.
With a seal on it or something.
Yeah. Oh, that's hilarious.
But it's 1 in 65,000, yada yada, with base odds. And if you do all the stuff that you did before to lower the odds as much as you can, then you're back to 1 in 8,000. The number from before they increased shiny
right.
odds.
So if you want the real shinies, you got to get the square thing shiny.
And you got to work
true
just
shiny
as
hunter.
hard as it's always been.
Right. All right.
There's also rare forms of Pokemon. So there's 4 Pokemon that have rare forms. There's Sinistea and Sinistea and Poltergeist, which is a little teapot.
Okay, yeah.
99 out of 100 of those are counterfeits.
Really?
The glassware that they're in.
Oh, they're counterfeit glassware?
Yeah. 1 in 100, if you look at the bottom of the Pokemon, has a little stamp on the inside.
That's awesome.
That's the only difference. You cannot tell in most cases.
That's hilarious. That's the real official one. So it's because it's just a ghost that infected it haunted some dishware, so it didn't know. It didn't care. That's pretty funny.
And so that's the same deal with its alternate, the matcha version of it, which is Poltergeist and Sinistea, which is like a matcha cup and a matcha bowl thing.
So this begs me the question: do Pokemon want to be caught and have a relationship with humans, or are they like happy?
According to God, in the games, they love it. Please do it. I'm God telling you to do it. I brought you back in time with your phone, gave you a new phone. Go do that.
That makes me feel so bad for Poltegeist then. That means someone catches a Poltegeist and, oh, this one's counterfeit. And they leave him behind. He's like, I didn't know. Like, I just
Maybe he should have had better taste. I don't know.
Poor guy.
Who cares about the classics?
Oh, poor Poltegeist. I'd collect them all. I don't care if they're counterfeit.
Well, I mean, some people still use it anyways because it gets the move Shell Smash, which is...
Oh, it's the big, it increases attack but lowers defense, right?
Increases both of your attacks and speeds, doubles them, and then halves all of your defenses.
Yeah.
You add a white herb onto that gets rid of all stat lowerings that happened in a single move.
Oh, damn.
And then you just double all your shit. So people actually use the non legit form.
Does the legit form not get that?
No, they both do. It's just
okay.
that people just want to play the game.
Oh, yeah, they're not going to worry about... All right.
Yeah. There's also the Dunsparce, the evolution of Dunsparce. They've got the 3-segment and the 4-segment one. The 4-segment one is 1 out of every 100.
Huh.
And then they got Mousehold.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the
whatever,
mouse parents.
Tandemouse and Mousehold.
Yeah.
There's Mousehold family of 4, which is 99 out of 100,
Huh.
and family of 3, which is 1 out of 100. So
where they have one less kid?
yeah, that's 1 out of 100 chance.
That's kind of sad, but awesome.
Well, also like the Dunsparce has 1 extra segment 1 out of 100 times. So my headcanon is that's the one that ate the extra mouse.
Oh my god. Oh no.
It's a bit gruesome, I know.
Yeah, god damn. I mean, I'd believe Dunsparce would do it, though. He's one of those idiots who would just do something horrific and just have that dumb look on his face.
Yeah.
He's just eating a child.
But it's 1 in 100 chance for that on top of the shiny chances. So you have something that's 1 in 4,000. Even with the like best odds at 1 in 500, you're looking at 1 in 50,000.
So yeah, shiny Tandemouse family of 3. Very, very rare.
Yes. So
God,
rare Pokemon still exist.
Oh, yeah.
And that's not the only thing. They added these new things in Gen 8 called marks.
Marks on Pokemon? Like,
it's just not like a visible thing. It's a thing that tells you like something about their personality or whatever, or like the weather that you caught them in. And you can throw them out, and then it'll be like Dragonite the Sleepy, or Dragonite the Rowdy, or it like gives you a title.
oh, okay.
On the Pokemon that you can't access because of character limits, right? Like you wouldn't be able to write that.
Right. Neat.
So the rare ones, the personality marks, are 1 in 700, making your odds of getting a shiny with a specific personality mark 1 in 358,708.
Jesus.
Now they do have quite a few of them. There's like 20, maybe. So like, I didn't do the math, but your chances of getting one with any personality mark are better. But like, do you want a specific one? Well, 1 in 358,000. Good luck.
Good God. Yeah, that's the kind of thing though. You get one of those, even if it's not the one like you really, really wanted. It's like, well, I got it, and so I'm gonna use it.
Still super lucky. Yeah.
Right? Yeah, gonna use it.
So there's also size marks. So size in these games is just like a random variable from 0 to 255.
Oh, okay.
And
it can actually be different sizes?
Yeah, they'll like you get 2 Pokemon standing next to each other. They're going to be one slightly taller than the other.
Huh.
And if you have one at the absolute smallest, a value of 0, or an absolute biggest, the value of 255, you'll get a mark for that. But you got to go ask someone to verify it for you, so you don't just catch it with it.
And what's Mark? You just get like Blastoise the tiny and Blastoise the gargantuan?
Yeah, something like that. The teeny and the ginormous. So that's 1 in 256, or 2 in 256. So 1 in 65,000 to get one of those shiny. Most common marks at highest odds is 1 in 6,400. So I think it's like 1 in 12 or something is like the most common marks you can run into.
Right.
That's still 1 in 6,000 with
So
the
the marks,
most stuff you can possibly get.
the mark you have to go and get for the big and small one. If you have like one shiny and one non, can you still get the marks on them?
Oh yeah, marks they don't have nothing to do with shininess.
Okay.
I'm just saying at the baseline, because shinies are being devalued, right?
Right.
But you get a shiny with another special trait, it's still at least just as rare as they've always been.
Right.
If not more rare.
I was going to say more rare in a lot of cases for some of this stuff.
Yeah, so like regular shinies, yeah, that's not as big of a deal. But the rare Pokemon still exist.
Yeah.
And then we get into the old gen shinies. So one, if you do something like beat the Elite Four or the Battle Tower or whatever in an old game, you could still get something called a ribbon, which isn't a mark that they're like randomly spawned with. It's a ribbon that signifies that they beat a certain challenge.
Okay.
And they would carry this forward, and then in Gens 8 and 9, they decided to make those ribbons also give you titles. So you can still have titles, but this time the title signifies that you got it in an old game with old shiny odds.
Ah, so is it retroactively? So can you not actually go back and get those now? Or can you
So
go
you
back
can, it turns out. It's really hard to get the service to work because it's running on like 2 servers
Oh, damn.
for like transferring up in between generations, but it exists. And you can get like a Gen 4 game and you can catch a Pokemon, and then you can have it beat the Elite Four in Gen 4. They'll have a special title in the newer games.
That's pretty sweet. Retroactively adding stuff in there, making it actually like your whole Pokemon journey means something.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool.
Another rare one, only in the old gens, is Shiny Trans Meryl.
Meryl. Which one is that?
It's the little blue guy from Gen 2. Looks like a ball.
Oh, yeah. The little mouse. I remember.
Yeah.
Yes.
Water mouse.
Mm.
Trans.
So what is it? Just these can go between the genders?
Because of a bug, they have Meryl and Azumarill at a 50-50 gender ratio.
Right.
But the pre-evolution they introduced in Gen 3, Azurill has a 25-75 male to female gender ratio.
Uh-huh.
Since gender is not a trait they like carry up, it's like something that is assigned by their personality value, which is carried up. There is a 33% chance for your female Azurill to evolve into a male Meryl.
What? And does it track that? That it
No.
did change? Oh, okay.
You know.
That'd be
There's
funny.
someone I saw on Twitter who for Pride Month was like hunting shiny trans Meryl.
That's pretty awesome. It'd be funny if it like notated it in some way.
Yeah. And then the final piece of information about rare shinies. This might blow the entire thing up.
Oh.
RNG manipulations in older generation games.
That sounds like it's a thing. RNG manipulation was always a thing in like a lot of like, I want to say like, what do you call it? Just older Game Boy games in general, older NES games. So.
Yep. So basically what you do is that there's software out there that you could find, and essentially you have things in the game that help you determine what seed you started on, like, or what seed you're on, like, in the game.
Sure. Like what place people are when they're walking when you first come into town or something like that.
Yeah, like the movements that people make when they, like, step back and forth. Like, you can count those and it'll tell you what seed you're on. In Pokemon Coliseum, it would let you would go to the pause menu, which would stop advancing RNG, and you would watch Espeon blink in the Pokemon summary, and you'd hit a button every time it blinks until the program was able to determine what seed you're on from the frequency of blinks.
That's awesome.
And then once you have your starting seed, you use another piece of software to locate the Pokemon that you're trying to encounter. So let's say you want a shiny, like, wild Bagon, which has like max IVs,
right?
Or at least like 5 max IVs, or I don't know, maybe like a special attacker where you don't want it, you want it to have as low as possible attack IVs, or like a Trick Room guy that wants to have as low as possible speed IVs. You can find the exact Pokemon that you want, shiny, nature, IVs. The program will tell you, advance this many frames and then start an encounter. And so that could be in 5 minutes from your seed, that could be in half an hour from your seed. And you just sit there and you advance your frames, and then you try to hit a frame perfect window. And if you hit the button to start that encounter right then, whether it's walking through grass or like if you're doing a legendary, like stepping onto the right tile to start them, like the animation of them coming up to challenge you or whatever,
right,
you'll get the exact Pokemon you're looking for.
Ah, stats and all.
Mm-hmm.
That's wild. That makes sense because there's a lot of like, I remember the Pokemon speedrunning eventually got to the point where you just recoded the game to win when you leave your house.
That is true. Yeah.
Like, and you get also,
you'd walk into the void a little bit, and then you'd like eventually walk directly into the Hall of Fame.
Right,
and
the
Hall of Fame
no
is
Pokemon.
just the trigger.
Right, to end the win. You could also recode it to play Tetris. I remember seeing a video of.
Maybe, yeah. The big you're getting into artificial code execution code injection type thing, where you use like this big thing that like has like 8 inputs and controllers, and you have them hit all the buttons at the same time. Yeah. This is really big in Super Mario World, where someone coded in Snake.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It's some of my favorite shit, because you just hit all the buttons. You find a spot in the game where data ends up getting written over. Like you have like the memory section in these like solid state things.
Lapse it over.
Yeah, and you force it to write into a spot where it shouldn't be, where there's like just regular game data, and you overwrite it, and you just hit like a bajillion buttons at once with a robot, and then you get Snake.
And then you just code Snake.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
But yeah, use RNG manipulations. I saw a video of someone getting 100%. So Pokemon Coliseum is like 30 Pokemon you can catch, just total, because you steal them from trainers.
Right.
And he went through and caught square shinies of every single Pokemon in that game.
Oh, damn.
Using RNG manipulation.
Damn. There's square shinies even back then?
It's attached to the personality value. That's just a number. So when you bring it to a game that has square shinies, it'll recognize it and it'll turn into one.
Interesting. Damn. That's wild. That's wild, the lengths people will go to, but it makes sense.
It is controversial, though.
Yeah.
Because some people say that
that's
tantamount to genning.
Right.
However, there is someone on YouTube who posts videos of them going through and doing this to build like a team that somebody takes to a tournament and they don't just get disqualified. The video is already out by that point.
Yeah.
Like they would know, like they could know that they did RNG manipulation to get this team and they still don't get disqualified. So
I guess it's legal. I mean,
they aren't editing the game.
Right. They're just, making the best odds. Technically, someone could theoretically do that if they were a computer. If they were two computers.
Yeah. It's just having a program tell you when to press a button.
Yeah, and you could theoretically do that. I mean, the odds are there to be able to do it naturally, but you just got it artificially rigged the odds. I don't know. I feel like if you're going, it's still a lot of work to do that. It's not like it's easy. It's not like
That's
anybody
how
could
I
just
feel
do
about
that.
it, too. But
yeah,
you are sort of guaranteeing something that is meant to be luck at the end of the day.
Yeah, I can see why people would be kind of upset by that.
Yeah, so it's controversial. I think it's fine. I get why some people would be upset at the idea of that.
Yeah.
So, that shiny Pokemon is shiny odds. There's still rare Pokemon out there.
Hell yeah.
They're just not the same ones they were before.
Well, thank you for all the Pokemon information, especially the, what were they called? The side attacks? The
side targeting.
Side targeting. That was a cool, the strategies they had. Killing your own Pokemon and burning them just to be sure.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I'm glad.
That's cool. I love hearing about all that.
I had to make my way in, so. I had this whole thing on status effects, too, just in case.
Just in case you didn't go long enough?
Just in case you didn't have anything in the beginning.
Oh, well, I had enough for the whole first episode.
I'm glad.
Thanks for listening to this episode of CRT Cold Hard Trash, episode 55. I did it right? Front and back?
Yes.
Cool. Just drop us a comment, a 5-star rating, and tell us what you like about the episode, what you hate about the episode. And, just take those comments, and the bad ones, you shove them. Don't even comment those. I take it back. Don't comment that.
Tell me I'm good at editing.
Yeah, tell us good things only.
Mwah.
Goodbye.
Thanks.